Hello, hello, you guys. I am here to do our story from our shuffle and pull last night or this morning. Um, golly, golly for reals. Um, this is Awakening the Artistic Seer. Thank you for being here. Um, let's get into our story. We are starting with our boomerang card. Let me back up. The overall energy here is facing our fears, and there is science. Facing our fears with love, and then the work of science. I did went ahead and penciled this one in yesterday, last night before I went to bed, only because, and I also did the back card, only because I saw the two blank cards on here, and I was like, you know what? I really need to go ahead and just draw those in. I couldn't, fathom having the two blanks on here. And I did a little research behind the bat. Very interesting information indeed. And I also did a little bit more information on the ... which is perfect timing when you listen to those little nudges to do that. It really adds a little bit of color to the story. So we've got the boomerang. What you do, what you put out there comes back to you, right? That's not by anybody's doing, of course. It just has to do with universal karma and how things play out and how things work. There is someone who is quite sick about it, how this karma is coming back to them. And of course, as we all know, people who do dirty deeds assume that other people are doing dirty deeds to them, correct? I'm sure it's not that way for everybody, but that is the consensus. I know for myself, personally, I don't do dirty deeds to people, only because I don't feel it's right. I wouldn't want to inflict pain on anybody else. The pain that I've had to go through life is not something I want anyone else to experience at my hands. I don't want that responsibility. So it is my belief that the creator of all takes care of those kinds of things because he is the ultimate father and the ultimate distributor of the lessons and whatnot that could best assist that person in their growth and evolution, right? So I'm not the person nor the place to be able to do that. So whatever this person is experiencing, whatever they're getting sent back to them, it's making them sick to their stomach. Like literally projectile all over the floor, and they're just making a mess all over the place. Spewing whatever it is they're spewing, accusing whatever they're accusing, creating just filth everywhere that they're going. They're sick about it. Whatever action or even non-action that was taken, they're experiencing that karma. For example, if you don't pay a bill, then whatever that bill was for, there's going to be karma for that, right? There's going to be some kind of action that's coming back, and maybe the expense was too much to bear or too much to handle, or it was just too much to even deal with. We've got this ... and it's since it's being used in a sentence, so to speak here, that's what we're going to use for the information. It means to pause or to trail off in thought. Something left unsaid, an awkward pause. Someone could be waiting for a reply, a long pause, silence in speech, an intentional omission of words. So there could have been someone who intentionally did not say something, right? It could be an intentional omission of words, of information, of details, of something of that matter. Maybe someone is spewing the details now to someone who is in a place of justice, a place to create balance or recreate balance in a situation in regards to a fellowship, a group of people, or someone who's driving this bus or who's driving the war against someone or some people. Um, there are rules on the road, especially when it comes to buses. If you see that little stop sign that comes out, you stop. For myself, I mean, just so you know, the stop sign there is there because there could be kids getting off of the bus, and you don't want one of those children to run out into the street, and now there's danger for that child, right? We want to protect our kids at all costs. Um, So even when I do see a bus pulled over and the sign is not out, I always just go very, very slow. I will end up stopping anyway, but then I'm always going super slow around the vehicle, and I'm looking out for signs of children or last minute runouts because, sometimes kids, they just run out into the street, even though, they're, I don't know. But I mean, they're kids, so we've got to keep an eye out for them. We've got the balance of fellowship. Perhaps there are this group of people. Perhaps someone went to a church to find some kind of balance. Perhaps they're going to a church to restore some kind of balance. Perhaps this church or organization or fellowship place, it doesn't have to be a church. It could be a temple. It could be any sort of experience there. Anyone that's practicing any kind of religious belief or spiritual belief practice would be considered a fellowship in this card. Someone could be reaching out to an organization of that sort, perhaps for balance in this situation. Now we've got the trumpet card. It is at the very end of the row. So it could be a call out for assembly. It could be the call to order. It could be a call to begin a war of some sort. I'm so sorry about the fact that there is war going on right now, and super sad about that. It is also with the trumpet vine behind the trumpet instrument. The trumpet vine is also known to have a substance in it that will deplete someone's own free will. It depletes their memory. If too much of it is administered, it can actually even end someone's being. And I learned about that from one of the news stories that are heavy out on the news right now. That apparently someone who was previously incarcerated and is said to no longer be here, that person had multitudes of these kinds of plants on their property. So that's where I learned that information from. Now, this plant, interestingly enough, does make someone go into a mode of where they're hibernating, so to speak. We do have this bear who is in isolation, is hibernating. Now, they do that to kind of, I'm going to have to do the research on it, but I'm understanding that they do that to, they sleep for the winter. I am assuming it's to restore themselves, to stay out of the cold. I'll have to do the research on actually why they do it. If anyone knows the actual reason why or what happens while they're doing that, put it in the comment section, because I just, coming face to the question, I'm like, well, why do they do that? You know what I mean? I knew that they did it, but it's like, well, why? Maybe that is pertinent to the story. I don't know. But then we have our pushed out card. Oh yeah, I did the penciling on the pushed out card as well last night. Pushing out the coyotes and the mountain lions out of the neighborhoods is actually called habitat loss, or habitat loss or habitat displacement. It's a destruction of their environment. It disrupts the ecosystems, limits the resources, displacing wildlife, biodiversity decline. Being pushed out also means destruction, evicted, to be fired, to be ousted, removed, dismissed, banished, forced out. To make someone leave a position or place through force or unfair treatment. Which I can say happened in my situation when I was on that LOA. I was forced to go on an LOA. I had a doctor's appointment for these weird little floating pains that I was having, just pains in different areas. And now looking back, it could have been someone having a voodoo doll. I mean, it's just so weird to even say that. Because the place where I was working, they did confirm, to my surprise, that they were into witchcraft and spell work and stuff of that nature. And that just added another layer to my need to go on a LOA. So in discussing this with my doctor at the time, she said, let's put you on an LOA. And I'm like, can we do that? I mean, it wasn't even something I went in there thinking about. I was just trying to get help for these pains I was having. And she said, under the stress and everything else that you're dealing with right now, I advise you to go on an LOA. So I went ahead and took her advice. I provided the doctor's note information to my place of employment. And from that point on, the Human Resources Department definitely confirmed the fact that my assistant manager had said that the HR department was not on the up and up. Also, it was actually a double confirmation, because when I asked for a family medical leave of absence, I was told it was going to take 6 months to get that started. And I even asked, are you sure it's not just, it covers 6 months of time? She said, no, just to get it started is how long it takes. And so I was just like, wow, that's something. So I had 2 situations where I had confirmed what the assistant manager had told me, and never in a million years would I have ever thought that I would have to experience something like that. But that just goes to show that, you know, people do have their path, they have their decisions, they have their, you know, their karma to face. And again, that is not my place. It ended up with me not being able to return to that position, as I have not heard from them. But I have gotten W-2s for the 2 years that I hadn't worked there, so that's interesting. So here we are. Back to the story. Definitely somebody was in hibernation or in isolation, and they were pushed out of a situation. Could have something to do with a purse, meaning things that are important or valuable to someone that they carry around with them every day. It could be cash, it could be money, it could be status. Monster, I also did a little bit more research on the true meaning of the word monster, because I wanted to have something more to go on, and it is to criticize or to reprimand severely. It's from the Latin word or an old French word. Also something large and ugly, a frightening creature, something extraordinary or daunting in size, something big. It also can be a person who lacks empathy, someone who is extremely cruel, wicked, heartless, defies normal morality. There are four types of monsters. There are supernatural monsters that have abilities that are not conforming to laws of science. There are the psychopaths who are violent and insane. There's folklore, legends, and myth type of monsters. And then there's common phobias like ghouls, demons, and extraterrestrials that people would consider to be monsters. Now, we do have the science card over there, so, I mean, it could be something of a supernatural kind of monster here, or it could be parts of a story that were brought together in order to make a whole story against somebody who was pushed out. Or it could be that monstrously daunting in size purse that we have there. So there could have been an extra large purse to be had for an earth angel who is innocent by nature. 4 is also stability, so it could have been affecting someone's stability as well. Now, this is something that they had done on repeat. They did it. They kept on doing it. This is, what's the word? Allegedly. It was allegedly done on repeat. When they could have stopped, they went ahead and continued, right? So they forced this person into, they were wanting to force this person into getting help of some kind, right? Perhaps they had some kind of plan that if they forced this person into getting some kind of legal help for the matter, they would already have some kind of story created behind the scenes about how this person is or what this person was or the things this person did, and they already tried to have that in the works. Could have something to do with a Virgo here as well. And then we do have the Libra card up there as also. It could have been the fact that they were trying to force this person into seeing a doctor or having to need medical attention or medical help. Also a transport card. Something wasn't right. Something unexpected, a distress signal. Again, with the rules on the road, there are laws on the road that these that the ambulances don't, and anyone with a siren don't have to follow the rules on the road because they operate by their own rules on the road because there's those the emergencies that are happening. And it's imperative, and just a reminder for us, I know how many times I've been out and about and I see those sirens or I hear the sirens coming from a while away, and I'm looking out in my rear views and I'm looking for the sirens because I want to be able to move aside. I don't want to be in the way of anyone getting the help that they need. And oftentimes I will also say a prayer of positivity, health, and protection for those involved in that siren in itself, because I just want people to make the best decisions based on what's best for everyone who's involved in that situation. So if you ever see or hear a siren, please send them prayers of positivity and health and protection. People who are in that line of work need those prayers just as much as the patient who is being transported or the person who's being whisked off in those situations. Yeah. I am noticing that is underneath the Triumph card, the trumpet card. Oh, triumph, that's a great word. Right? We're triumphing over maybe the war that's happening. There could be a spiritual war that is happening. There could be people who are getting their free will restrained a little bit or put in hibernation. Maybe people have some kind of spiritual gifts that they're not able to use anymore because they are being protected from themselves or from they're being kind of held back from using any kind of negativity, so to speak. It's being put into some kind of hibernation mode of some sort. This next row of cards is we've got an ear here. Listen up, you've got to hear what I'm saying. When I put the cards down and looked at them yesterday, I was like, okay, that's saying listen, celebrate, just go celebrate. Right? I'm taking that as a positive. Go celebrate. It's a new day. Any day that you are woken up in the morning, it is a new day to celebrate. Go do what you need to do. Go follow the rules of the road, right? Because we've got the rules of the road here again with the light happening. Also, this is my card of getting credit where credit is due. It is also my card of wasted resources because it's completely daylight outside, but yet the stoplight is there, right? But it's telling you to go celebrate. Someone else could be celebrating. Perhaps they feel like whatever it is that they've done in the dark is something to celebrate, but it is a new day. The sun is rising. The sun is showing is showing a new day. We've got the submarine here. This is the Pisces card. Something that was submerged in water always comes to surface. The submarine will always come to the surface no matter how deep it goes. And you can see the light rays here coming from above. Perhaps it's the purse that is shining down into the depths of the ocean and illuminating what has been submerged. We've got the birds up there flying high, and it's a new day. I don't know why it's wanting me to break into song. I think it was a commercial that was having something about a new day, a new dawn, or something like that. We've got this rolling stone. Initially, when I saw it, it was like Papa is a rolling stone. My dad personally was a Pisces as well. And Papa was a rolling stone. He was a little bit of a gallivanter from what I understand. He did apologize for that. So, I mean, no harm, no shame in that. He was doing the best that he could do at the time with what he was dealing with, I guess, at the time. Even though it was self-imposed and it was probably biologically, with the science card there, driven. He did the best he could. Maybe it got out of hand. Maybe there was a situation with a Pisces that you know in your life that maybe whatever it was that they were involved in is being illuminated because it was out of hand. Maybe something they said, quote unquote, maybe something they had said in conversations about a certain situation got out of hand, and it really was like an elephant in the room. Perhaps it was something that you said about a Pisces that kind of rolled out of control, and it's the elephant in the room. It's not going to be forgotten because elephants never forget. You can deceive an elephant by keeping a chain around their foot because now they still think that they are tethered to whatever it was that they were being chained to during the time of their training. But the elephant is still there. It's some kind of confusion going on. Maybe there was confusion on what was said, and whatever was confused on what was said is rolling out of control. And that goes back with the last story, I believe, where something was said and then it was like a game of telephone where whatever was said was just completely blown out of proportion, and it was exaggerated, and it was created to the point where now there was wasted resources happening. There could be an offer being made here with the apple. I know in the fairy tales, those witches and whatnot, people who were deceivers, they would make this offer and it would end up being a poisoned apple. I knew someone who actually even made some kind of smoking device in order to partake in their medicinal herbs. This person made a smoking apparatus out of an apple, and that was quite interesting to see, I have to say. Very bizarre, actually. The apple also has, let's see, the spirit harmonized. Okay, it's the 5-pointed star inside. The earth, air, fire, and water elements, and spirit harmonized in the human experience, protection and balance. nutrition, education, cycles of life, fiber, knowledge and temptation, immortality and health. So I'm going to go with that, immortality and health, and then we've got the protection and balance. I'm going to say that there could also still be an offer on the table that's trying to be reused or recycled or revalued, perhaps. Trying again, repurposing maybe the past events for a better future, using what you have experienced and applying it to future endeavors. Biblically speaking, our past experiences, whether good or bad, are used for the betterment of someone else's future. So that way you can explain, be the testimony, and explain what has happened to you and what and how it was used to better you and your circumstances as far as learning, education, evolve, like evolving to another level of things. With pain and uncertainty comes discernment and faith, right? Someone could have, it's been there, done that. It's a situation you've been to, you've done that. Converting waste, which would be also those wasted resources, could be some kind of converting of those wasted resources. Returning to a previous stage in a cyclic process, like a cycle. Keeping in the loop of things. It is going with the DNA, recycling. So perhaps there was something that was passed down through one's DNA. This is a masculine action. It is also the month of August. It is something that is infinity. DNA. I mean, it is DNA. Our genetic makeup, the way that we're created. I know that they are definitely altering people's DNA with the certain SHOT that they have been creating within the science department. It's possible that that could be recycling a person's DNA, or perhaps someone was trying to copy somebody's DNA as far as copying who they are and trying to be them for trying to maybe gain the purse of this individual from the justice system here. Maybe this came from somebody who was on a submarine, worked at the submarine, was in the military of some sort. I guess that would be the Navy. Could have something to do with the letters A, G, C, and T. Those are the letters of what is part of the DNA cycle. Also the phosphate backbone, so it could be a P involved as well. Family relation. Could be fragmented. Human DNA comes from the dad and the mother. All human mitochondria comes and descends from a single mother. It's a double helix, molecules acting as a blueprint, storing instructions for development, function, and reproduction, inherited from parents. Sugar phosphate is the backbone with 4 chemical bases, and they start with A, G, C, and T. Close to 99% of genomes to non-coding useless junk DNA. So only 1% of someone's DNA is actually not junk DNA. All humans trace back to the original parents of Adam and Eve. And to mention, chimps are the closest relative to this DNA makeup. So again, with the Papa connection, Rolling Stone, it could be somebody's dad who was in the Navy. Perhaps. Maybe it's something somebody's dad said to somebody, making this offer. Maybe they're trying to recycle somebody's resources, use it for their own gain, their own wealth, so they can have a better new day. Infinity, masculine action, a doing. It's the 8th house, decade, or month. Hey, Google, can you tell us about the 8th house, please?
The 8th house in astrology is all about the deep, hidden, and transformative parts of life. It's often associated with the zodiac sign Scorpio and the planet Pluto. Its main themes include transformation and rebirth. This refers to major emotional, psychological, or spiritual shifts, like symbolic death and renewal, rather than just physical death. Intimacy and deep bonds. It covers the emotional and psychological side of close relationships, including sex as a profound connection. Shared resources. This governs money that isn't solely your own, such as inheritances, taxes, debts, loans, and your partner's finances. Mysteries and taboos. It touches on subjects often hidden or avoided, like the occult, magic, research, secrets, and confronting your shadow self. Would you like to know more about how a specific zodiac sign or planet might be interpreted if it's placed in the 8th house?
No, thank you. So we were talking about the recycling of DNA, which would also be when you do have those kind of intimate encounters with someone else, you are kind of swapping those DNA. They do say that when you are intimate with a person, you actually do swap DNA cells, and those cells from each partner go into that other person, and that can be a recycle of. Spiritually speaking, when you do have those kinds of intimate moments with someone else, you are also recycling and swapping their energetic field and their spiritual imprints. As far as like if they're dealing with negative karma, the other person is going to inherit some of that negative karma. If someone has got really great dharma and they've got really great connection to spirit in the positive sense, that also will go ahead and exchange with that other individual, and they will end up benefiting from that person that they were just intimate with. So in some cases, there are times where people will purposely seek out people who, I mean, this would, of course, would be someone who is either subconsciously trying to reach out or seek out somebody like that or not, in order to integrate those parts of the other person within themselves. Granted, I'm sure there's some people who have the knowledge and they do purposefully go out and find people like this in order to connect with. But I'm sure also biologically and scientifically, there are people who maybe on a psychological, subconscious level may try to seek out these individuals. Like, let's just say there's someone who is a virgin or innocent or sheltered or not knowing. Maybe they're just got virginal ways of thinking, or I'm sorry, I'm not coming up with the right words, but if they are someone who is very prim, proper, and pristine, or pure, like has a purity about them, they may go out and be attracted to, quote unquote, the bad boy or the Rolling Stone type, because they are subconsciously or spiritually trying to evolve themselves to a place where they can better understand that side of things or inherit biologically or spiritually those qualities of the other person in order to maybe ground them a little bit or make them not so much in the clouds type of individual. Right now, that's just a theory that I'm coming up with right now, and It's interesting because I know subconsciously we do that when it comes to trying to work through our issues and problems with individuals or our upbringing or whatnot. The same would be true for someone who is maybe on the darker side of things. Perhaps they are attracted to that purity in somebody else, or the vitality or the positive or that outgoing positive nature, because perhaps that's something that that person who may be on the other side of things, not so positive, are attracted to, because they are wanting to be more like that. They are trying to hold on to something that they were once upon a time, when they were more innocent, or maybe even a child for that matter. They want to go back to being that child. And so they kind of gravitate to those people who represent the things that they lost within themselves, that they are possibly trying to regain by being involved with that individual. Um, Sometimes we will be attracted to those things that we wish we were. So, and that's just psychologically speaking. Um, Now we're getting into our owl, the one that hunts at night, deals with things in the shadows. Perhaps this individual, this Papa person, or this Virgo or the Libra, perhaps this person just kind of sits back and watches and waits for the right moment, right? Perhaps they're waiting for a moment where this individual is pretty content, or it could be this individual who is pretty content, kind of relaxing. Cats are known to select their owners by their energetic fields. They're also known to be spiritual protectors of spiritual things that might be coming towards their owner. Their purr, when they make that purr sound, they are actually, it's a healing vibration that happens. So their contentment is actually raising the vibration in the person that they may be lying on, or the energy that's around them in the vicinity. It's raising the vibration of what's going on around them. We do have this vampire bat here. I changed it from just the bat to a vampire bat just because it seemed more fitting. And I chose the uglier of the two bats. I know the other one is a fruit bat, and they've got kind of a face like a little chihuahua. And because I already have the little chihuahua looking-ish dog over there, I wanted to venture out and do the vampire bat, because they are not as cute and cuddly as the other one is. Poor guy, right? I know that vampire bats, or bats in general, can end up with the whole rabies thing, and that's never good. In the Chinese culture, that symbols of a bat is extremely good fortune, happiness, and longevity. It represents the 5 blessings of health, wealth, long life, virtuous, and a peaceful passing for someone who might be, I mean, we all have our appointment, so who's to say when it's going to happen? But when it happens, when a bat is in your path, then it's going to represent a peaceful passing. It is also about facing patterns that no longer serve your soul and your growth. That is very, very relatable to the fact that we are having that blood moon, which is also the same thing, is about letting go of things that don't serve your purpose, that are not good for you, that are not beneficial to you. It's about letting those things go. Bats also signify navigating through the unknown, transformation, and guiding through personal change, the ability to move through fear and uncertainty with confidence. Now they hang upside down. Oh, in the Western, they represent, what is that? Secrets, violence, and what is that? I don't know what that is. I want to say awareness, but it's not awareness. Dangerousness, danger, secrets, and male violence. And we do have the male card here. Intuition and sensitivity, highly social animals, trust your inner voice and instincts. They're usually in groups, strong family ties, and communication. Native American, it represents a shaman or a trickster spirit. So any of those could apply here. We do have taking the lead over there with the leash and collar for the puppy who's not there. There's fireworks in the sky and the life preserve. Those were all center of the one was the next card out, and then the other two, the fireworks and the life preserver, were splitting the deck. So someone could be taking the lead as far as they're facing their fears. We've got it here in the beginning, pretty much as the overall energy. We've got it here at the end, facing your fears with confidence, making those first moves, taking the lead, taking that first step. Perhaps there's, again, with the celebration, we've got go celebrate with the fireworks. There's a plan to celebration, perhaps. Perhaps someone is throwing someone else a lifeline there in order to help them get out of whatever situation they are involved in. Be mindful and use your discernment always. Wherever you're being led to, whatever offer was being made to you, take the time to decide. If someone's forcing you to make a decision of some sort, you always want to weigh out your pros and cons, right? Make a logical, sensible decision here, but still have the faith and know that things, should work out, but don't take any unnecessary risks. Be mindful to be aware and in all situations, considering our last reading or our last story that we had, and take precautions. Make sure that you know your surroundings. We've got the life preserver there, which kind of goes here with the submarine in the depths, as we were talking about with Google was mentioning the depths of emotions and stuff that are involved in situations like that. It could be stuff that's going on in the news, the things that could be shocking or surprising, things that are alarming, so to speak, in the news. Even though those things are going on, please consider to still focus on the positive of every new day. Focus on the things that you do have control over, like yourself. Continue to recycle positive attributes on things, just so we can try to help raise the vibration, the vibrating around the monster, the vibration of the cat. We want to continue to raise the vibration. Also being shown in the quote unquote, the things that we see, the things that we do, the things that we say, keep it positive. Keep it positive. Send positivity towards people involved, towards people who are being affected by situations, people in certain scenarios. Always send them positivity, regardless if someone's being pushed out, regardless of being isolated, regardless of what finances are involved. Just always keep it positive. It's the only way. Even in moments of silence where you think that there is no, where is the higher power or the Most High in this situation? I don't understand how the Most High can allow these kinds of things to happen or transpire. Well, the Most High gave the other side of things 7 years to run the earth and to give people the option and the free will in order to turn people against the Most High. And the Most High was like, if you can do it, fine, go ahead, try. I give you free will. I give you the authority to do that, but trust not my anointed. Right? So everyone's given the opportunity to pick a side of where they want to be. And it's up to the individual to make that decision. and hopefully that they'll select right. Everyone has the opportunity to know of the Most High before the end times are going to come. They say that there is a second coming. There's different theories on that, whether it's going to be an actual person that comes from the sky, or certain situations where it's a awakening within the individual, and having this spiritual awakening is also considered a second coming. I do not know, because I don't know all. I just know the different theories that are out there. And it is my job to share that information with people so that they can better make their own decisions on these kinds of topics. Anything that I say is not to be taken as like I know what I'm talking about, just to put it bluntly. The information that I share is information that I've come across, whether it's stuff that I've heard, stuff that I've seen, stuff that I've experienced, stuff that I've read. However manner it comes over to me, it's information that I have, and it's up to me to share my information so that other people can make appropriate decisions for themselves. Please be mindful of that. Use discernment in any time you're ever hearing anything from anyone. That's imperative. With that being said, I appreciate you being here. Again, this is the awakening of the artistic seer. I appreciate your time. Please like, subscribe, and share if needed, or if you feel like it. Thank you.